Is the PhilIRI easy to administer? Siyempre, ang sagot ng teachers, no, because it takes too much time to finish administering all the tools. Tama? More time is needed to administer all the tools to all the pupils. Then what problems or difficulties did you encounter in administering the oral reading English? Many pupils in grade 1 could not yet read most of the words in the selection. They can answer only an average of 2 questions. Before to nong K to 12, no? May grade 1 pa. They feel shy in reading to the teacher. Some have a hard time recognizing the words. Sa grade 4, the comprehension questions are hard. Grade 5 and 6, they can answer only the literal level. The selections are not within their background experience. What about in silent reading? As a measure of reading ability, it is not a reliable measure. Pupils pretend that they are reading, and when the number of seconds is flashed, they just say they have finished. The non or the slow readers finish first. Sabi nila, kasi pag flash daw ng kinokopya na. Wala nga namang mabasa, di madaling matapos. Grades 1 and 2 children are not yet used to silent reading. Tama naman. The teachers administer the test individually and monitor if they are actually reading. Oral reading in Filipino, sabi nila, although the selection is longer, because the words are longer, it is easier for the children to read and understand. They are more interested in reading the Filipino selection. Silent reading in Filipino, same problem as in English. Are the forms, meaning copies of selections and questions, recording form provided adequate? And the answer ng lahat, no. Hindi naman kasalanan ng mga nasa regions, no? Siguro kaya alam din to ni na Joy. For the silent reading test, only 1 copy is given to the school and the teachers reproduce for the whole class at their own expense. Tama ba to sa lahat ng regions? Yan. 1 silent reading, 1 copy lang daw for the school. Ang teachers ang re-reproduce. Dito sa Metro Manila, maganda-ganda ang sitwasyon because they get the money from the canteen. Totoo? Yung mga in-interview namin, sa canteen daw nila kinukuha. Yung proceeds ng canteen. For the oral reading, sometimes they just copy the selection and do the miscue analysis on pad paper. Imagine ko kopyahin nila yung selection. They likewise reproduce the recording form to be submitted and for their own file. On the average, how long did it take each child to read the selection and answer the questions? Ang oral reading daw, 15 to 20 minutes. Does the manual provide adequate explanation of each test and how it should be administered? Yes, the explanation is adequate, but sabi ng iba, we are not provided the manual. The grade level coordinator explains the procedure to us. Yun. Is the time allotted for the administration of PhilIRI to all students sufficient? Yes, because each week there are pupils assigned to read. Yes, we do it during the Filipino or English period. While the class is doing a seat work, a pupil is called to read. What are your suggestions to improve the PhilIRI? Ito yung hindi namin nagawa kasi wala din naman sa namin. Pero sabi nila, originally, there is a list of words that the children should read. Yun naman talaga ang IRI minodify lang ng PhilIRI. It should be included again. Pupils who find it difficult to read the word list should not be subjected to oral and silent reading anymore. One suggestion yon. Okay. The PhilIRI selection should take note of the curriculum in reading. The words in the selection for each level should be in accordance with the word recognition curriculum for the level. Sinabi na natin to kahapon. Don't test the pupils on all the four. If the pupils could not cope with oral reading, they should not be subjected to silent reading anymore. Okay. Remove silent reading. Allocate funds for the reproduction of the PhilIRI. The selection should be familiar to the children. It should take note of their background experience. A manual should be provided for each teacher. So yun yung mga suggestions from the teachers. Na ang iba palagay ko pwede nating ma-address, yung iba pwedeng ma-address ng central office. Ano po, ma'am? 1:1. Bawat teacher may hawak. Makapal mga 40, 50 pages ba yung manual? So baka ini-explain na lang daw, sabi ng ibang teachers. Parang ini-explain na lang yung contents ng manual. Pero kanina nga bigla akong pinaserok. Sabi ko hindi pa pwedeng i-explain ko lang yung pagkuha ng miscues. Dapat may hawak kayo ng anong gagawin kapag repetition, kapag hesitation. Dapat mayroong hawak ang teacher na ano.
I'd like to share you what we did in Tagum City before when I handled as division coordinator for PhilIRI. We received as thick as this. And so what we did is to come up with a capsulized one, which contains the major guidelines where teachers will be able to, from there, administer correctly the PhilIRI, at the same time, give the right rating. So nandun yung makikita natin how they are going to rate the students and how they are going to calculate yung rating kanina, the percentage, the listening comprehension, all of those. So it's a matter of really taking the initiative for the teachers to follow the correct procedure and that they will be guided, even though it is a replica of as thick as this, but the major guidelines are there.
Wala na yung mga introduction kasi pwede na yung introductory part ng manual, pwede na yung i-explain during a faculty meeting. Pero yung how to compute, how to record, how to compute, dapat merong kopya ang teacher. Okay, any more feedback or concerns? Yes, Sir Eric.
Just to clarify, ma'am, you presented all the sets of feedback coming from the field. Sabi niyo po, Manay Feli, nakuha niyo po ito sa mga teachers, di po ba?
Yes.
And now, the one that you're presenting to us about PhilIRI, we're able to capture all these things that we're gonna use for this particular
Actually,
year?
yun yung unang pinagawa sa amin to evaluate the PhilIRI before. And some suggestions were incorporated when we were doing the 2014 PhilIRI. So, and the suggestions were given to the central office para malaman nila. Although, palagay ko medyo alam na natin, finormalize na lang during the interview with the teachers, pero medyo alam na natin ang problema. So we're trying to make it easier on the part of the teachers. Hopefully, maging mas madali sa kanila. Okay, before we had lunch, we said that some pupils may be able to understand the selection if somebody reads it for them. Meaning the listening comprehension is good, but the word recognition level is not as good. So, the teacher reads the selection to the pupils, reads the questions to them, and the pupil just writes or says the answer. So, kino-compare natin, is the problem in word recognition and in comprehension? Or is the problem in word recognition alone? Meaning, if somebody reads the selection for them, their comprehension is good. So, we also give a listening comprehension test to them. Okay. Then, the teacher may opt to give the Phil-IRI silent reading test. It assesses the student's reading speed and reading comprehension. Okay. How do we compute the speed and comprehension? The number of words read over the reading time in seconds times 60. So dahil silent reading siya, tinitingnan namin how many seconds did the child read the selection. And for the comprehension, number of correct answers over number of questions. So ito yung nasa literature. Kung titingnan nyo, parang pag ang word reading ng bata independent, pag ang reading comprehension independent, ang reading profile niya per passage is independent. Pag ang word reading independent, ang reading comprehension ay instructional, ang reading profile niya for that passage is instructional. Dito ako medyo instructional siya sa word reading, independent siya sa reading comprehension, instructional level pa rin siya. Pag instructional siya sa word reading, frustration siya sa reading comprehension, frustration siya. So makikita niyo yung lower ang palaging kinukuha, no? Ay hindi, pero independent diyan, instructional, instructional. Instructional siya doon, independent, instructional. Pero kapag ang word reading niya instructional, pero ang reading comprehension frustration, frustration level siya. Kakita nyo? Per passage. So, dito sa passage na to sa grade 4, frustration siya. Bigyan ko kaya siya ng grade 3 selection, baka maging instructional. Pag binigyan ko ng grade 2 selection, baka maging independent. So, per passage. Reading profile per passage. So, it's like, if I ask this child, a grade 6 pupil, was asked to read a grade 6 selection or a selection with a readability level of grade 6, maybe his profile is instructional. If I give him a selection with a readability level of grade 5, maybe his profile in that selection or in that passage is independent or instructional. So, yun yung formula ng reading profile per passage of a student. Ang kinukuha natin sa reading profile niya, word reading, meaning the number of words na nababasa correctly, and the reading comprehension. Tinitingnan lang natin kung fast siyang magbasa o hindi. But in terms of computing for the reading profile, it's the word reading and the comprehension that matter. Ang nasa word reading siya. Ang accuracy niya nasa miscue analysis. Ang speed yung number of minutes that the child read the selection. Wala yun sa speed. Nire-record natin ang child nagsi-self-correct, pero wala siya sa miscues. It's not counted. Kasi nag-self-correct siya. Another clarification.
If the word reading is independent and the reading comprehension, the reading profile of the student is frustration. Independent and frustration. Wala siya dyan. Opo. Yan ang hinahanap ng mga teachers sa field.
Meron bang batang independent ang word reading, pero frustration ang yung Yun lang yung nakakabasa pero hindi naintindihan ng binasa. Pag ako ang magja-judge, frustration yun. Di ba? Pero wala siya dyan sa formula. Another clarification, kasi ang gagawin natin ngayon, bago ako pumunta, kasi ang sunod ng gagawin, pag nakita mo na ang reading profile ng bata, ito na yung gagawin natin after our miscue analysis. Magmi-miscue analysis muna tayo, and then we are going to work on or talk about how should the field IRI results be used. Is it just for reporting purposes? Hindi dapat. Hindi dapat na naka-record lang, dadalhin sa principal's office, dadalhin sa district office, dadalhin sa division office, sa region, tapos ipapadala sa central office, naka-file sa central office. Dapat nakikita kung ano ang ginagawa ng teacher after the teacher found out na ganito ang problema ng aking estudyante. So nasaan na si at ang gagawin natin, magpi-play muna tayo ng batang mag-video. Papanoorin muna natin ang batang nagbabasa. Then second reading ng bata, we try to rate the types of miscues. Mispronunciation, anong gagawin pag nag-mispronounce ang bata? Underline the text and write the phonetic spelling above it. Paano kung nag-omit ang bata? Circle the omitted word. Paano kung nag-substitute? Yes. Write the word read directly above the correct word. So isusulat mo kung paano ang basa ng bata, kung paano nag-substitute. Okay. Next, paano kung nag-insert ang bata? Caret, tapos yung in-insert niya. Paano kung nag-repeat? Draw line from the point at which the reader decides to retrace the steps. So, in the may line. Paano kung nag-reverse? Lalagyan ng proofreader's symbol of transposition. Paano kung nag-omit ng punctuation? Okay. Lalagyan ang punctuation mark ay a C-circle. Parang mayroon akong hindi nalagay. Yan, ma'am. Tama. Hesitation, ilalagay mo yung parang a pause is marked through an elongated P doon sa hinesitate niyang word. Pause, kapag hindi tumingin sa'yo na parang SOS, hindi ko na tumabasa, hintayin mo yung, baka naman nagpo-pause siya at tinitingnan pa yung selection kung sabing, teacher, kalabit, or tumingin na sa'yo, meaning nangihingi na ng help, that means hesitation na yon. Okay.